Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrecht and Tommy Kester.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Happy Thursday to you here on Sports Daily. It is Jacob Albrecht and Tommy Kester. We are in the final day before the resumption of the Major League Baseball season, which, of course, the Royals are much in focus this year, which is great. We got all kinds of good stuff coming up for you today. Our pal Tim Fitzgerald, our K-State insider, will join the program. We're pushing Connor Frankamp of the Aftershocks and the TBT upcoming to tomorrow. So we will have that interview for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that conversation as they are practicing. The KU and K-State alumni teams are practicing, and we get the TBT going this weekend. That'll be fun. Chiefs are in camp, and, plenty of meat on the bone there, certainly through the first couple of days. Caitlin Clark setting WNBA records on the court. All kinds of good stuff for you today to come. We'll talk about the Major League Baseball trade deadline, now less than 2 weeks away as well. And we have the Open Championship out across the pond, the British Open. We'll have that. We'll have an HTO giveaway for you today. We will have an NBC World Series ticket giveaway for you today as well. The IHOP hotline is open at 869-1240. Jad Chambers is there. We are, of course, here with you on KFH on 12 News Connected. Glad to be here with you. Tommy, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you today. Happy Thursday. Good to be back today. Looking forward to getting into it and looking forward to the resumption of Major League Baseball tomorrow. All-Star game Tuesday night. But yesterday, today, not a whole lot of action. So getting ready for the Royals to kick things back into gear tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll spend a lot of time on the Royals today as we make our way through, and tomorrow. A lot of time on the Chiefs today. The Open Championship's out there. Look, it's a major. Tommy, you're a golf guy. Like, what do you think? I'm looking at a leaderboard that's not very sexy right now, to be perfectly honest with you. I know who Justin Thomas is. I do not know who Alex Noren is. I do not know who Nikolai Hogard. Well, I guess I've heard of him. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of him. Doesn't he hit it like a mile?
Yeah, you got Justin Rose, in the mix, and
Justin Rose
that's a name for sure. Yeah. Adam Scott is in the mix right now.
Let's not pretend like this is a star-studded leaderboard.
It's a good leaderboard though for the Open Championship, for link style golf. It's a lot of names that you would expect, including Europeans, Justin Rose and Australian Adam Scott. So Jason Day is in the mix too. So, there are absolutely notable names, but it's so incredibly early in this major championship. We're, maybe midway through or a little bit, through the opening round. So there's a long way to go. I know of a handful of people. I'm not one of them. As much as I love golf, I know a handful of people that were up at 2:00 in the morning or 3:00 in the morning to watch the Open. That's not me. I'll wake up and turn it on when I get up, but I'm not getting up in the middle of the night.
I was up almost that late, not watching golf, dealing with hopefully one of the final stages of a kitchen remodel, which has been my summer existence for the last 8 weeks or so. But no, I didn't have any golf on. Maybe I should have put some on. Tiger Woods just teed off, by the way. He is even par through one hole. Even par, by the way, is fantastic at this tournament. So there's Tiger Woods off to a great start. You could still bet him at 150-1. Has Scheffler gone yet? I haven't looked for Scheffler. Is he?
He is not teed off yet. He's getting ready to. He tees off in the group with Cam Young and Jordan Spieth, and actually just a couple of minutes from now is when Scotty tees off. I think one of the major storylines, there are a bunch of them, but one of the major ones is not only will Tiger make the cut, I don't even know if that's really the storyline. Can he make it through? Physically, will he be able to play 2 or even 4 full rounds of link style golf, at True? And I think that's going to be the major storyline.
Scheffler's 475-1. That's higher than normal. Is he not a links guy?
Well, there are so many different variables, and it's a completely different style of golf. I don't know if it's that he's not a link style golfer more than there are golfers that their games are built for this kind of golf, and
you can get almost 5-1 on Scotty Scheffler. You never get that.
The one thing that is for sure about a tournament like the Open Championship is that weather usually plays a major factor. You've got whipping winds and, no trees to break the wind. You've got, it's a completely different style of golf. You're not, trying to necessarily shape shots as much as you are trying to keep it out of the wind. The greens are, usually pretty undulated and crazy. Venues like Troon and other things like that. So that's going to be, of course, a major factor in this tournament. And you mentioned that even par, is a pretty good score right now. I mean, yeah, look at like John Daly, for example, is in the field. He's 11 over. He shot an 82 today. So it's difficult out there, and it will continue to be so all weekend.
You're telling me shape shots. So the goal for these guys isn't just to hit it as straight as they can and not duff it every time they step up to the tee box.
The goal, at least if I were playing, if I was in the field and I was, a good enough golfer to play, would be to hit as many low shots as I possibly could. You're not going to want to do like the big towering high drives and things like that. You're going to want to try to keep it low along the ground, keep it out of the wind, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like my kind of golf. Just don't duff it is my kind of golf. No, I would actually probably prefer links play. Texas Panhandle golf is what I call that. Hit it low and let it roll, baby. Keep it out of the wind. We'll see. We'll keep you apprised of Tigers round and Scheffler's as well. Gary Woodland has gone 8 holes. He is 1 over, so he's having a pretty decent first round. You can catch him at 400 to 1 on Gary Woodland. My goodness, I might get a piece of that. Adam Hadwin is through his first round, and he is 4 over. So there you go on the Open Championship. I can't contribute much there other than it's really the British Open. You'll never get me to not call it the British Open. Why did we do that?
It's the Open Championship.
Why did we have the Open? The Open is the U.S. Open. This is America.
They did it because not every venue that they play is in England. They'll play in Ireland. They'll play, there are other countries that will host this tournament, and so the British Open.
Any of them not in Great Britain though?
No. I mean, it's all in that.
We don't call it the English Open. We call it the British Open.
We also don't call it the Great Britain Open or the Great British. It's the Open Championship, or just flat out the Open. Like, I'm okay with either one of those. I've got no issue with it.
The Open's the U.S. Open. We're in America. God bless America. We won back in 1776.
We know.
I'm calling it. I'm calling it the British Open, the Red Coat Open, whatever you want to call it. Good luck out there. Go America. We need an American to win that tournament. I know that irks them, makes them mad.
We had an American winner last year. Brian Harman won the Open Championship a year ago.
I would have lost. I mean, you could have given me 1,000 guesses, and I would not have guessed that's who won that tournament last year.
Do you even know who that is? Power. You know who Brian Harman is? Okay.
Nope, I don't think so. I mean, maybe I do. I don't know. But I would like to see a little star power. And then we'll see Scheffler. Look, Scheffler close to 5 to 1. You never do get that. And Woodland, Woodland in the mix at 400 to 1. Why not? I mean, that's got to take a swing. We'll leave the golf to Tommy throughout the show today to keep us updated on what's happening on our local interest or just interest in general. All right. Royals, Tommy, I think is where we spend a lot of time today in Chiefs training camp. We'll get to the Royals in just a second. A couple of notable things yesterday from Chiefs training camp, and we did get this in. It came down while we were on the air, but the PUP list is, Minihue and Noddy and Tooney are the most notable on there. I don't think any of that is overly concerning. I think of the PUP list, the most notable thing is Xavier Worthy is not on there, and he is practicing. Now, I don't know if you caught this from Tuesday, which is when they reported. It's very interesting. So you had the word ease into it was out there and used a lot, eased into things. So up first was Andy Reid, and they said, is he good to go? And he kind of gave a vague injury update. And he said, we're going to ease him into it. We're not just going to get out there and give him every rep and do all these things. Then Patrick Mahomes gets up there, and they ask him about easing him into it. He's like, oh, no, there's no easing him into it. We don't have time for that. He's going to go full go. We have too many good pass catchers here, basically, and let Rashee Rice last year be an indication of, we're going to give him the full load, right out of the gates. Then Worthy talked yesterday about easing into it, and he was like, no. There's no easing into it. It's very interesting to hear the coaches and how they feel about it and the players. And I think it's cool that pressure is coming more from Mahomes than it is the coaching staff. You better get on board, buddy. I think Mahomes is fired up about, we heard him say last year was not fun. I thought that was the most notable thing we heard out of anything we've heard so far. if you're looking for motivation outside of, the obvious winning a third Super Bowl, he seems edgy to me. He seems angry a little bit about the way last year's regular season went. I'm just telling you, I think he's going to light it up this year. And I think the offense will redefine. They're going to sling it, and he is going to be closer to the Patrick Mahomes of 2 years ago, certainly, than he was last year. And I think you can. I think the energy to do that is tangible so far in camp. Like he is ready to put last year's regular season behind them.
Yeah, the one thing I've noticed about Patrick Mahomes, and it dates all the way back to last season when they were going through those struggles, is that he's got kind of that chip now. Not that he hasn't always had, that competitive fire, but
Right.
there's kind of that villain kind of mentality. We talked about it during the season last year where, that it was kind of the first time that we had seen not really people turning on Mahomes, but kind of doubting whether or not they were going to be a legitimate contender. And I think that fired him up and it made him angry. And we saw more emotion on the sideline, throwing tablets and, getting into faces and things like that. And I think that now that that's happened once, I think Mahomes is more comfortable in embracing that a little bit more and being a little bit more fiery and being a little bit more, defiant and saying, look, last year wasn't fun. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen this year. And so I think that's that trickles down to his teammates. It certainly trickles down to the pass catchers that are on that roster. And I think that when you're talking about easing Xavier Worthy in, the difference, it might be the same phrase, easing him in, but it's different definitions of that phrase. Where for Xavier Worthy and for Patrick Mahomes and for the other players, it's more about the effort level. Yeah, there's not going to be any kind of easing in for the effort level. Like you have that effort 100% when you're on the field. For somebody like Andy Reid and the coaching staff, it might be more about like easing him in the number of plays that they're going to, have him be available for right out of the gate. I think that's kind of the difference in the definition.
There has to be a physical easing because hamstring injuries linger, and there's absolutely no reason not to do that. Worthy, I think, is, somewhat famously not missed games or time. So I think this is bothering him. My takeaway isn't that the messaging or the definitions are different, because I agree with you. I think they are. It's that Mahomes is creating a different sort of expectation and pressure, very front facing, that we maybe haven't seen quite as much anymore. They'll embrace the villain role to their haters. It's not going to be like Hollywood Hogan of the late 90s and the ultimate bad guy turn of all time. It's not going to be like that. That just doesn't fit his, persona. But yeah, there is an edge there, I think, that we are seeing. And I'm glad for it. I think you have to have those sorts of evolutions as a player to maintain an edge and stay on top and do those things. I mean, Tom Brady is the perfect example. Tom Brady's always the best example for Patrick Mahomes, not just because Patrick Mahomes is the guy that could challenge his goatness, but because their personalities and the way they are wired, even though they're completely different people, like way different, they're way different players stylistically. The one thing that is not different, that has always not been different, is their expectation for greatness. And as Tom Brady's career chugged along, we began to hear those almost in reverence, because you got in a younger player to older player look at it, right? We haven't had that chance with Mahomes because he's not old enough. Mahomes is not an old grizzly. Now he is in reality, but he's not, he's not to that stage. Players aren't looking at Mahomes like they looked at Brady at the end, or look at Rodgers now, or anything like that. But we're seeing it develop, and he is setting these tones and these expectations more than anybody else, more than Travis Kelce, more than Andy Reid. I mean, honestly, like he's the guy right now, I think, that is going to push that intensity up big time. I don't even know that, honestly, that's not even really Andy Reid's personality either. I mean, maybe it is internally. And all this, I mean, is like public facing, right? But Mahomes is going to bring that, and it will be interesting because they've, generally been more talented and smarter, right, than the opposition, I think, in all this success that's happened. We know all those things. Have they been the most intense. Well, I think last year's struggles may have created
I
that
think it
intensity.
ignited that fire a little bit. And I think
Yeah,
that's that's a crucial piece, and how you can, when a team faces adversity moving forward, once that adversity is kind of off your shoulders, you can then kind of channel that. You can revert back to that. You know what it's like to be there. You don't want to be there again. And all the greats do that. There are times absolutely where, the best players in the world, regardless of the sport, they will channel an extremely difficult time in their career when they faced adversity, or when, maybe they almost got all the way to the top of the mountain and then they were knocked off, and they'll channel that and they'll make sure that doesn't happen again. That's what the greats do. That's what Patrick Mahomes, I think, is doing entering in this season.
I think too, there has to be a self-awareness of what happened last year. Now, I was the optimist last year that kept saying it'll be fine, it'll be fine. I think a part of it, as we look back at last year, the Bills underachieved last year. The Bengals underachieved last year. There was a lot of that. The Eagles underachieved last year. The Cowboys underachieved last year. There was a lot of that in the NFL. The Chiefs underachieved until they ended up winning the Super Bowl last year. The chances of that happening again are very low, right? The Bills did not get better, but the Texans got better, right? The Ravens got better. The Ravens basically added Derrick Henry to that offense. They got better. The Bengals will get better because Burrow's healthy. The Eagles will play better. The Eagles added Saquon Barkley. People are sleeping on them big time. There's a lot of younger teams that are going to get better. Now, I wouldn't consider them Super Bowl challengers. The Niners probably at even par or worse. And I would say the Bills, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, even par or worse. All the other real contenders, the Jets, they all got better this offseason and should be better next year. It will not be as easy for the Chiefs to play as poorly and sort of stumble through the regular season. And I think they sense that. I think they know that. I think if you had to, I would be curious, like if you could have an honest conversation, like who do they fear as challengers? I would bet you the Texans are higher than we're giving them credit for. I would bet you that the Ravens certainly are. I mean, the thought of the Ravens with Derrick Henry, if Derrick Henry has 80% of what we've seen left in the tank, they are going to be hard to beat, period. They're going to be really, really good. And they're just the beginning. The Browns will be better. I mean, if they can get anything out of it. So I think we're sensing that urgency from the Chiefs. And the only reason all of that's important is because they've won the last 2 Super Bowls. How much urgency can you have outside of the historical nature of what they're trying to do this year? Like they're on top, that sometimes you can be on top and you can kind of let people creep up. But I think because of the way last year played out, it isn't allowing that to happen at all. We're 3 days. We're starting day 3 of training camp. And I think you can sense it. And I think, the thoughts around Xavier Worthy have been a great indicator of it. That there is going to be none of that. Like it's going to be as intense or more than it ever has been before.
What's really interesting about the adversity they faced a year ago was that they still won the championship. They struggled in the regular season. And so then the narrative, becomes, okay, how much does the regular season really matter? Because if they make it to the playoffs, then they can just make a run and go win it. And that formula has been shown that can be successful. That can work. They did it a year ago, but that's not ideal. That's not the ideal path to winning a Super Bowl. And so it would be really easy for anybody on this team, including the leader, Patrick Mahomes, to sort of like sit back and say, look, like we can win a Super Bowl in a bunch of different ways. Doesn't really matter. We can lose 6 games in the regular season. We can still find our way to a championship. That'd be really easy to fall back on that. That's not acceptable for Patrick Mahomes. And so, we can sit here, or anybody can sit, here and say, ultimately the regular season doesn't really matter. We're talking about their challenger, for a championship. It does matter. It does matter to the path. And
last year was such an outlier.
Mahomes is not going to be content with that. And, they're going to do everything in their power to win as many games. It doesn't matter if it's week 1 or week 17 as they possibly can.
There are a lot of outliers. Mahomes is certainly one of the outliers when you talk about just like a chip in a chair. But historically in the NFL, and these numbers are a few years old, so just bear with me, but it'll give you a general sense. They've changed. But basically, a number 1 or 2 seed wins the Super Bowl almost 75% of the time, right? 75% of the time, it's a 1 or a 2 seed that wins the Super Bowl. What happened last year for the Chiefs, that's an outlier season. And I think they know that. I think we're like that. I don't think that is lost on the Chiefs. I think they fully understand. They're very fortunate to have made it through a regular season that rocky.
And they absolutely had the talent last year to be a 1 or 2. They just didn't execute. They underachieved in the regular season.
And they just don't want that.
You don't want to do that to have that happen again.
It is an interesting motivating factor, and I think it is on full display early in camp. All right, let's set up our first giveaway. We'll do some NBC World Series tickets for you. If you want to go see the NBC World Series, you can get a pair of tickets on us. All you got to do is text the keyword STRIKE, STRIKE, to 20357. Message and data rates apply. You can enter once a day on this contest. The last day for the contest is tomorrow. So if you want some free NBC World Series tickets, now is the time. Text that keyword STRIKE to 20357. Good luck, everybody. We'll give away some HTO later in the program as well. We got a lot of Royals to talk about. A lot of fun stuff to sort of get through on this last day to catch our breath before the sports calendar heats right back up. It's Albrocht and Caster, Jad Chambers producing. Don't go away.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
Tiger Woods, y'all. 1 under through 3 holes. Here we go. 869-1240, the IHOP hotline. We'll keep you apprised. It's amazing. Tiger Woods still the number one story in golf. All these years later, if anything happens. It's that kind of impact that you just don't find in the sports world very often. Michael Jordan was that way. I've been told Muhammad Ali was that way a little before our time. Tiger Woods certainly has been that way. Is Caitlin Clark that way? I think she is. Something like 19 assists last night. Continues to sell out arenas. I mean, it is remarkable. We didn't know if this would translate. It clearly has. I think she's there. I really do. Like, when you talk about before versus after with her and what she's accomplishing, through popularity, I mean, I think she is. I think she's there. I think she's to that level. I think that's what she's doing. Angel Reese might be the rookie of the year too. Like, it has been everything they could have ever hoped for. And I love it. They're apparently going to be teammates on the All-Star game. I haven't followed as closely. I just saw that she had that kind of night last night. 19 assists for a rookie. It's going to be really fun. There's going to be a renaissance, and it'll be through her. People can get as mad as they want about that and like upset. And there've been all these great fine. I'm with you. Doesn't matter. Nobody has had this sort of impact on that particular sport. And I'm here for it. I love it. I'm glad it's happening. I hope it is inspiring to a lot of people and it grows that game. And again, like, I don't know why that bothers people so much. Like, it's the golden goose. Take it if you're a women's basketball fan.
If there's any doubt about the impact that Caitlin Clark has brought to the WNBA, just take a look at the reporting of the new media rights deal for the WNBA that in the last 24 hours has come out that they're valued at $200 million a year. Before it was $60 million a year. It's a $2.2 billion media rights deal over the next 11 years. And I think that's a major part of it. The NBA owns the majority of the WNBA, so they negotiated the media rights deal. And it's a big increase. I think that the players union, they're a little bit concerned about this because there's it doesn't impact player salaries much at all, if at all. And so you've got definitely the star power of Caitlin Clark and everything that comes with it. Does that directly impact her, the fellow players? I don't really know. Doesn't really look like it based on this media rights deal. but it still is quite a bit more money overall for the league over the next decade plus.
And look, it's great. It's great. It's not, again, like I wish people wouldn't get so up in arms. Like, I don't even know what the right term for it is. Tiger Woods has had this impact on golf. Do I watch any more or less like actual golf, like sit and watch golf because I think Tiger Woods grew the game? Probably not. Not really. Have I watched any more?
I think for sure.
Well,
that I'm that
but what
way.
I'm saying is, have I watched any more actual WNBA games because of Caitlin Clark? No, I haven't, because I don't have time to watch WNBA games. It's not, and I barely have time to watch the things that I have always been really passionate about, much less a new thing. The same thing for golf to me. But that doesn't mean I don't pay as much. I pay far more attention holistically to golf because of Tiger Woods. It's not making me watch tournaments themselves, but it's made it a more valuable property, basically. And she is certainly doing that for the WNBA. I mean, there's no question she's doing that for the WNBA. And that's what's awesome. And it does make it, it probably impacts whether I would go to a live event and do all that kind of stuff. I just, as we see Tiger, having some success early, it will be the head, no matter what else happens. I love Scotty Scheffler and what he's doing. If Tiger's in the mix here, Scotty Scheffler will be very much back page news. And that's still the Tiger effect.
Do you know how much Caitlin Clark makes a year as the rookie for the Indiana Fever? Do you know what her salary is? The number one pick in the draft, what her base salary is?
$85,000.
$76,000 a year. That's her base salary. And, so I think that's the concern of the union, with the WNBA, is that there's this valuation now of the overall product. It's a byproduct of all of this, right? Like the league itself is getting more valuable because of the new face of the league in Caitlin Clark. It's a $2.2 billion media rights deal. And Caitlin Clark makes $76,000 a year as a base salary. There are so many other earning opportunities that she has, but her base salary in the WNBA is $76,000.
I am a free market believer, Tommy. So I would tell you that, what about before Caitlin Clark? Like, that's the one outlier of hundreds of players where that would be skewed. So what if you took the other direction on that? You know what I mean? Like, how many WNBA players or players in any sport do you feel like have not lived up to their financial value? You know what I mean? I think that's a little bit unfair. Caitlin Clark is one of one in what she's doing. So does the whole league need to change its structure because Caitlin Clark is that value? I mean, that's a bit of a stretch to me. She's going to earn her money. And look, that doesn't mean she's going to sign a huge contract when the time comes. But I don't know that you need to change your rookie scale.
Will she? Because, here's the thing. And this is just everybody in general.
I don't know. Does WNBA have a salary cap?
That's a great question. I know that the average median base salary is,
they do have a salary,
slightly above what Caitlin Clark is making. The top base salary in the league is $242,000 a year. That's the top base salary in the WNBA. And I get what you're saying as far as free market and all of that. Are these players, even at the very top, are they worth $250,000 a year? Should they have higher salaries in general?
Yeah.
It isn't uncommon for WNBA players, and this is the way it's been for 20, 25 plus years, to like go play in Europe during the off season to make more money.
Yeah.
To supplement their income, like things like that.
This is why it bothers me so much, by the way. And this is totally off script to but I'm glad we're having this conversation, because I am far more interested now in life, in the business of things, than I used to be. There was a collective bargaining agreement. I just looked. There is a salary cap. So it's going to be, but this is why I don't understand the other players' hostility to Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark will singularly raise that salary cap the next time you go to the table. She's going to singularly raise the average salary. All of this stuff's going to happen because of Caitlin Clark. Okay. And you can be jealous of that. I don't get it. I don't understand it. All you want. But that's the reason this league is going to grow into what so many of these players have been begging us for years. Why are we not paid more? Why aren't people paying more attention? Why all this? Why this? Why not us? Okay. Well, now people are paying attention, and your salary cap's going to go up, and your accommodations have gotten better. And there is one reason that is happening like this quickly all of a sudden, and it's Caitlin Clark. It's not Angel Reese. It's not any other player. It's Caitlin Clark. So embrace that, use it to your advantage, and tell people why they should be just as excited, and show people why they should be just as excited about Angel Reese and all these other rookies and great players that come through. Hey, Caitlin Clark brought you in the room. Now we're going to show you what we've been talking about. Now that you're here, we've been asking you to come here. Now we're going to show you what we're talking about. And that's what I hope for. So that's what has blown my mind. You know, we didn't see this in college basketball outside of Angel Reese. Angel Reese was, I think you can call it jealous. You can call it whatever you want. But otherwise, I think there was a very broad appreciation for what she was doing. I haven't felt that in the WNBA. I haven't. And maybe it's just because she's a rookie. And that's probably fine if that's the case. But don't misunderstand what the financial impact she has. And and that's, look, you can get as angry about that as you want to, but it's reality. And I'm not, there's a lot of people that are, trying to like get a rise out of people by saying, it's all Caitlin Clark, nothing else matters. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is you got to strike while this iron's hot. Like, yeah, her base salary is $76 because that's what rookies get paid in the WNBA. That was collectively bargained, probably because that was the value that they had financially to an owner trying to make their business work. Now, the owners, because of Caitlin Clark, are going to make more money. What does that do the next time you go to the table? It makes you raise that salary cap. What does that do? That raises the average salary. That's the whole point of all this. So why the hostility from some people to Caitlin Clark? I'll never understand it. She is literally making the sport better and more financially viable.
Yeah, I mean, she's making the overall sport more financially viable, but I think it remains to be seen whether or not her presence will directly lead to more dollars in the pocket of the other players. That's the question.
Of course it will.
How? I mean,
did Tiger Woods' presence? Every tournament purse went up because of Tiger Woods.
It sure did. But I mean, of course, like that's apples and oranges. I do know that there are similarities, obviously, because, Caitlin Clark is one of one and Tiger Woods is one of one. But golf is an individual sport. And so these players, even if the purses went up in value, the players still had to perform to be able to win any of that additional money. They still had to be in the top 10 or make the cut to get any kind of, like, if you were a mediocre golfer, it didn't really matter if Tiger Woods was in the field or not, because you weren't making money anyway. Even if the purses went up in value, you weren't making money.
And were we sitting here trying to lecture people though about the average salary of a golfer being too low?
But it's all on them as an individual. This is not on the players. Like, it's collectively bargained. The players are bound within the terms of the collective bargaining agreement and the teams that they're a part of and the league that they're a part of on what they are able to make. Like, there is a ceiling to that. It's not completely up to them. It's up to the union, and it's up to the teams, and it's up to the league on what they want to pay in a salary. For professional golfers, it was ultimately up to how successful you were and how you played. And that was basically how it was determined how much money you made if the purses were larger. So it's an apples and oranges argument.
It's not, though. The best athletes make more money within the structure of what's in front of them. And it will raise the floor up because they're going to have to make room to pay her, number one. But two,
the only way that it wouldn't be
no.
The only way that it would be not an apples to oranges comparison is if the WNBA had a structure that was like the PGA Tour, where, there weren't salaries. There aren't salaries on the PGA Tour. It's literally you eat what you kill. You earn based on your individual performance. That's what the PGA Tour is. This is, again, apples and oranges comparison.
But the overall pot of money got larger because of Tiger Woods. The overall pot
Great.
of money
That meant
in a
Tiger
media
Woods was
rights
making
deal,
more money. It meant the
I
top
understand.
players at the top were making more money.
Yep. And that's what's going to happen in the WNBA. The more valuable players are going to make more money. It's what happens in the NBA. You've got the star players making $80 million a year.
The base salary might go from, or the top base salary may go from $242,000 to $275,000 a year.
That's a big increase. That's a 10%
And the
increase.
WNBA is going to get $2.2 billion over the next decade for their media rights deal.
That's why you have bargaining, though. The bargaining will work that out. I mean, that's why you have people at the table to raise that cap up. I mean, that's what I mean in free market. That stuff works itself out. Patrick Mahomes makes $50 million a year, right? The rookies that come in might make $1 million a year. Is he 50 times more valuable?
I think so.
Is Caitlin Clark 50 times more valuable than the average at W? Yes.
Yeah, and she
So the
makes
free market will
$76,000 a year.
Yeah. Well, she hasn't had a chance to make any money. Patrick Mahomes wasn't making that his rookie year.
But you knew she was going to be one of one when she was drafted. She was one of one in college.
But the structure of the league didn't allow for it, just like it doesn't
Bingo.
allow for an NBA rookie. Right, but it doesn't allow it anywhere. Like they have to rechange the structure. Now they have more ammo to do it.
That's
than
what I'm
they've ever
saying
had
is that the
before.
structure is not conducive for players
right
in the
now.
WNBA to earn. It's not conducive for that.
And they'll have more negotiating power than ever before the next time they try and change that structure.
Hope so.
I mean, they will.
Hope so.
Of course they will.
The NBA
Caitlin
owns
Clark's a part of
60% of
it
the
now.
WNBA. You know, they've undervalued. They have a history of undervaluing the WNBA. They have for years.
Undervaluing it based on what, though? Based on the return on the return? I don't know that it's been undervalued. I've never seen the books. Are teams making money?
I have no idea.
I mean, the value is the value. The value is how much money the teams can make. The NFL, by the way, report came out yesterday, is making lots of money. Something like $500 million or something like crazy on average. But anyway, we can continue this discussion. Let's take a quick break. We owe Jad one. 869-1240. This portion of the program, we want to say thank you to Prairie Fire Coffee for keeping us fueled and fired up here at the Odyssey Studios. They've always got a big old pot ready for us. Tommy, Jad getting fueled up on some Prairie Fire today. We're going to come back. We can continue that discussion. We got Tim Fitzgerald, our K-State insider, coming top of the hour. We'll get into a Royals second half, unofficially, preview as well. Maybe a little more on Chiefs game. Maybe a little more on this discussion. It's a fascinating one as Caitlin Clark sets a rookie record in the WNBA yesterday and we're bringing the popularity we I guess we hoped that she would. Now we've seen it full force. 869-1240. We'll come back. More Sports Daily right after this.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want. Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Sports Daily. So Front Office Sports has a lot on that WNBA stuff we're talking about. Maybe we get into that in the second hour. Briefly, it can be thrown out, this CBA. I think the players can do that, and they almost certainly will. Why wouldn't they? After next season. And some of the benefits of this could come immediately in the perks and the amenities for the players. Front Office Sports alludes to the fact that maybe they don't have to supplement their income by going to play in Russia. Just little things like that. And then we'll see what happens at the table. It will be very fascinating to see how the entire union tries to capitalize on Caitlin Clark's, obvious impact here, because, you can make a case that not very many players, but I think every sport can make that case. And I think you're just banking on the overall growth. Like if you were an owner of a team, like you're salivating right now at the impact all of this could have, and the players, including Caitlin Clark. And this will be what I'm fascinated by when I said that. What sort of leadership role does Caitlin Clark take in all this? She'll be a very young player, but she is the one that matters the most. If she puts her foot in the sand and plants that flag, the league will cower to her. They absolutely will. And so that will be interesting. All the people that have given her a hard time when it comes to that, they better be her best friend, because she's the one that can really have an impact there on that. Like if she says jump WNBA, they'll say how high.
Yeah, and I think that opting out of that CBA, which it looks like, and I didn't know this until I just looked at, a few seconds ago, they can get out of it in November is when they can opt out of that CBA. That I would
choose to opt out, and then it would end after 25.
I would imagine like that's
they will.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, they will.
Knowing the amount of money that's coming in from these different networks over the next decade or so, and then where the base salaries typically are. The top player in the league, while she does make millions of dollars in endorsement deals and things like that, her base salary in the WNBA is 5 figures.
As a rookie, though. As a rookie,
it doesn't matter. She's Caitlin Clark.
The top,
she's.
What? No, I know, but the rookies in every sport could be considered underpaid. The top-rated player making $250. That's, I think, what you got to look at in the average salary. Are those high enough? Not with $1 billion media rights deal, they're not. And so Caitlin Clark, even though it won't apply to her probably for a year, I don't know how long the rookie deals are. She's going to be the one that has to drive the ship on. Nope, it's got to be higher. And if she says so, the league will say, okay, you're the boss. Like, you tell us what to do. I mean, that's what happens in these situations. It's not unusual, right? Like, that's how you have to treat these things.
Yeah.
There's a reason it's $1 billion deal, and it's because of the butts in the seats and the eyeballs Caitlin Clark's bringing.
You want to know why every team in the WNBA desperately wanted Caitlin Clark and wished that they could have drafted her? Partly because she's Caitlin Clark. Partly because think about the amount of money they're making off of her, and they only have to pay her $75,000 a year.
There's no question, and they'd pay her $3 million a year. If it allowed for it. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. All right, 869-1240. When we come back, our buddy Tim Fitzgerald's going to hop on. I want to get with Fitz as much about all this conference realignment stuff as anything else. Takeaways from SEC media days, the expectations on Texas and Oklahoma, and then we'll check in on the Cats as well. As Big 12 media days are behind us. It's all coming up as we start hour number 2 here on Sports Daily. Don't go away.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want. Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrocht and Tommy Kester.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Sports Daily. It is KFH. It is 12 News Connected, and we're glad to be with you. Jacob Albrocht, Tommy Kester. Chad Chambers producing, manning the IHOP hotline. Glad to be here with you. We'll give away some HTO later this hour. Tommy, Open Championship update here. We got Tiger at even par through 4. Got Gary Woodland at 2 over through 10. Your leader's still at 3 under. What's it going to take, do you think, in this tournament?
To win the tournament when it's all said and done?
Yeah.
I think knowing that like Justin Thomas shot 3 under today, probably not going to hold up that entire weekend. I'm going to say the winning score is, 8 under, 7 under, 8 under. I think you're going to see quite a bit of difficult golf as the weekend goes on.
All right, we are welcome now to start things off in the second hour by our buddy Tim Fitzgerald. Go powercat.com, at Life of Fitz on social media. Fitz, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you boys?
We're good. We're good. What's new? Now we're through Big 12 Media Days. Now we kind of sit and wait, right? For what, 3 weeks until practice starts?
Yeah, basically. We have a little, expansion news to keep reporting on. If that actually is got substance, so that fills time. And but yeah, it's you're heading towards the football season real fast now.
That expansion, I think, is where we kind of tease this before we connect it. That I think is the big draw right now. I think the theory we put out there last week is probably not even a theory. I think they're going to raise private money, and I think they're going to pry Florida State and Clemson loose. What really becomes interesting is if they do that, maybe if and when, what happens then? The SEC is saying they're good now. Do they want North Carolina? Does the Big Ten have interest in anybody? It's the ripple effect, I think, that I'm more interested in, because I think Big 12 is going to go get some money and they're going to try and get this done before their next TV negotiation. So what else then happens, do you think?
Well, I think you're right. I think once someone takes schools from the ACC and shows a pathway, I think others will follow. North Carolina is the crown jewel of the ACC in terms of what the Big Ten and SEC want. I mean, it's a huge state with, a big following, and it's exactly what both those conferences want. It expands their footprints in kind of connective states. It just makes a lot of sense. And I think once some schools exit, the offers will roll in. And the benefit for the Big 12 is the fact that neither Florida State or Clemson really fits what the two other conferences are looking for. I mean, Big Ten demands academics. They don't fit that very well. And the SEC is trying to expand its footprint. So adding two schools from states that they already have schools in doesn't seem to fit what they really want to do right now.
It's interesting you bring that up because to me, it's been a little, surprising that the programs, that are Florida State and Clemson are not what the SEC or the Big Ten are looking for. But you go back over the last decade plus, I think in the last 11 years, 3 of the last 11 years, the national champion in college football has been one of those two teams. Clemson's won it twice. Florida State's won it once. But I've heard that a lot that, they don't fit the SEC or they're not big enough, for the Big Ten. And it surprises me that, you've got a couple of these universities that have won national championships, at least in college football, which is driving all of this. And they're not, those two conferences aren't interested in them.
Yeah, it is odd. You would think those two schools coming together would be like forgiveness for what they really want, but we can't pass this up.
Yeah.
But it's not that way. It is very interesting. Maybe it will become this way. Maybe the Big 12 is simply doing the legwork, and then one of those conferences will come in and swoop them up right before they sign, because we know they would go, and they should go. But on the other hand, I'm not seeing many indications right now that the SEC wants to bring in more good football. I mean, they've got it set up pretty well. They can have 4 or 5 good teams and brag about the entire conference being better than everyone else. And it's not true, but it gets propped up quite a bit. This is the last chance, really, for the Big 12 to close the football gap. So, and I think they know that, and Brett Yormark is certainly acting like that if he's being this aggressive with these, third-party talks. And I think if something's going to happen. There's just too much smoke at this point. But again, it's hard to make ACC fans realize the Big 12 is not trying to kill the ACC. It's not like fans are rooting for this to happen. I think most of us would agree. I wish the ACC would survive, but they seem to be hell-bent on their own destruction.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's not the Big 12. The Big 12 has one opportunity here. They get one more TV rights deal. Brett Yormark has made no secret that he thinks that they can get to the level financially of the SEC and the Big Ten. The only way they can do that is further expansion. I mean, you bring Florida State and Clemson in, you've got your two biggest football brands. I don't mean that with any disrespect to anybody else, but that's what it adds to it. And if you can get more than that, we've always thought this, like if there could be one more mega league, then maybe you could compete with those other conferences. We're watching the NBA sign $76 billion media deals and the WNBA get into the billions. If you don't think that kind of a college football mostly and basketball conference is going to at least match what the SEC and Big Ten are getting, I don't think you're paying attention. And that's the clock that the Big 12 and Brett Yormark are racing against.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I think he realizes that the Big 12 is being undervalued in media rights, and I think he's actively trying to make it apparent, but the only way to do it at this point is on the field. And, and trying to back it up with good ratings when you have the opportunity to be in a good time slot, because those numbers are going to get really ugly because the Big Ten and SEC are going to dominate the best time slots and the best platforms. And the Big 12 and ACC will get what's left. So, yeah, adding those schools would help quite a bit. And then I'm positive they probably want 4, to keep it somewhat even numbers in terms of, having divisible number of 20. But who comes after that? We've heard Louisville, we've heard Miami, now we've heard Virginia Tech and NC State. It's amazing to me that the ACC has so many good brands and such a crappy deal for their media rights. It just doesn't make sense. But they signed it. This is their life. And world leadership sunk the Pac-12, and it might be doing it to the ACC.
Well, I think that's a great point. And a follow-up that I've thought about a lot with all of this is that shouldn't the ACC take a look at what happened to the Pac-12 as a cautionary tale? Because we've been saying forever, everybody had been that, and the best chance for long-term survival would be a Big 12 Pac-12 merger. But, the Pac-12 couldn't get out of its own way. They ended up losing their schools outside of 2 of them, and everything fell apart for them. It almost, seems like it's happening again to an extent with the ACC. But is it ego? Is it just, kind of turning a blind eye to what happened in the past?
Yeah, it's ego. They really do believe that the ACC is far superior to the Big 12. And I don't see that actually on the field in the current state. And, I had to remind them, some fans this morning, that, well, you might think you are, but don't you remember what happened last year in the college football playoff selection?
Yeah.
The nation didn't think you were. I mean, folks, just look back over your shoulder and see what happened to you. I don't think you're probably as, popular and wonderful and respected like you think you are, because you got slighted big time. And I don't know what to say other than the fact that if you take the best brands out of the ACC and move them into the Big 12, you get pretty close to the Big 10 and SEC. It's going to be a much closer divide there between the amount of money. And I think that's best for everyone.
Okay. So I don't know how we say the best of them. I kind of would be interested in almost all of them. Am I like, I don't, who wouldn't you want? Who wouldn't add? Not necessarily. I guess it becomes more about who would subtract. Tim Fitzgerald, GoPowerCat.com, as we're talking about the future of the Big 12 here. But I mean, I think there's a home for Duke. I mean, I think Georgia Tech, Louisville, Miami, if it got that far, North Carolina State, Pittsburgh. Like I don't think there are very many you just absolutely wouldn't be interested in. Are there? You wouldn't want, Virginia Tech? Like I don't know. Syracuse, like all of these seem like they would bring value to the Big 12. I kind of think you just go as big as you can go. I wouldn't worry about 20. I'd just say who doesn't help us, and we'll take everybody else.
Yeah. I think you can put Wake and Boston College and Syracuse. Syracuse has let their brand kind of age out, and they haven't kept up with facilities. I think those 3 are going to be in big trouble here. The only reason I think Pitt's in the discussion is their, rather rabid rivalry with West Virginia. Other than that, I don't see much stomach for them. Georgia Tech.
They got a big old fat
really
endowment. I'm looking at endowments, and Pitt has a good one. Pitt's got more than North Carolina, and I don't know how much that matters. You know more about that than I do. But yeah, certainly Wake, Virginia Tech, Miami, but it's a private school. Louisville doesn't have much. Florida State doesn't even have much. So I don't know what to make of that. I don't know. I don't want in all of this. I hate when teams lose their standing in it, and maybe there is a collection of the rest somehow. Whether it's the American picks everybody up and or the Mountain West. I don't know, but I think there are more than 4 teams out of the ACC that would interest me if I was Big 12.
Yep, I don't disagree with you. The thing is, where do the networks want to go? If you really do have their permission to expand and add these brands, would they stomach picking up 6, which has been a rumor? But I like to look at it this way, guys. The Big 12 is just helping the college football world here, because I would imagine the ACC will backfill. They've got enough schools that kind of fit their academic profile within striking distance, like Tulane and South Florida. But I think probably they'll add Oregon State and Washington State too, so that there's 4 schools out west. So I think we're solving problems as the Big 12 goes. We're fixing some things here. But in all seriousness, it's sad to see schools get left out. And I've tried to explain to people, don't tell Big 12 media how realignment works. I mean, we've been covering this for 15 years. I've been in the epicenter, and it's been the Big 12 that was thought to be the one that would get ravaged and left for scraps with teams left out of the Power 5. And I didn't hear anyone really crying over that. So I think this has just been an interesting evolution. The position in which the Big 12 now sits is totally unexpected from not long ago, but here we are.
Do you think the other 2 major conferences, specifically the SEC, are strong enough to just sit on their hands and do nothing as everything moves forward? Greg Sankey the other day at SEC Media Day said that they're not looking at expansion. They're set with their 16. He's not a recruiter. Those were his words. And so they're just watching expansion and realignment elsewhere. Are they strong enough long term? I mean, I know their brands are incredible, but do they have the luxury of just basically doing nothing?
They do. I mean, they're highly respected. For both of those leagues, their media valuation is so high. Really, adding Florida State and Notre Dame might be the only thing that would move it upwards. At some point they're worried about their watering down there. The Big 12's trying to increase their payouts, and they're worried about decreasing because they overexpand and bring in brands that don't lift the boat any further. They're just going to weigh it down. So I don't know. I mean, Greg Sankey's full of crap, first of all. And he's talking about we wouldn't go raid a conference and take their teams, and like, you just did it to the Big 12.
Right.
I mean, I know people don't have good memory, but you literally did that. The only way anyone found out was someone from Texas A&M decided to leak it. So it just cracks me up where they're trying to be holier than thou when they really set that last thing, all that movement into motion.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Of course he's full of it. So 2030, 2031 is the year that the current Big 12 deal expires, which is before the ACC deal. They got 4 or 5 years to sort of get themselves positioned. They'll be bigger. The Big 12 will be bigger. I don't know when the SEC or the Big 10 deals set up. I correct me if the Big 12 is first, right? Of the 4 big conferences now, they're the first one to come up next. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think so
it was
too.
a smart deal that Yormark signed. I think getting to go back into the marketplace twice during the ACC's contract is enormous. And I've had ACC fans say, well, we just got a bad media deal. I'm like, yeah, that's the problem. You do. You are getting underpaid, and ESPN isn't going to magically pay you more. They're more inclined to lower the payment so they move some of the money over to another conference. The ACC's done this to themselves, just like the Pac-12 did this to themselves, and they want to blame someone because it couldn't possibly be their elite conference that screwed it up.
Big Ten comes up 1 year earlier. I just looked it up, by the way.
I'm going to switch gears and actually ask you a K-State question. Yeah, I know. Isn't that great? Major League Baseball draft earlier this week. You had 5 Wildcats drafted in the Major League Baseball draft, kind of headlined by Kalen Culpepper, going 21st overall by the Minnesota Twins. Watching him and of course, watching the entire program this year have their best season since 2012 and going to a super regional and all of that was incredibly exciting and a lot of fun. But watching a guy specifically like Kalen Culpepper, who to me looks like a surefire big leaguer, I mean, that's a huge compliment, I think, to Pete Hughes and the program in general to have that many players drafted.
Yeah, and it shows the signs of progress that you need to compete at a higher level. You got to have better dudes, and they had some. You know, it kind of petered out at the end. They didn't look real good in the super regional, but it was signs of forward progress for the baseball program. And, you know, it's odd because everyone thought NIL would kill programs like K-State baseball, but they're doing a good job of retaining players with NIL and not going out necessarily and getting a bunch of dudes. They kind of, we've got a really good reliever, a great shortstop. Yeah, okay, we're going to invest in them, try to prevent schools from poaching them. And I think that's a good formula, and it certainly worked for K-State last year.
NIL's helping everybody. I agree. All right, Fitz, what do you guys have going at GoPowerCat.com during this calm before the storm? Yeah,
I've done like 4 daily deliveries on the topic that we just discussed. I mean, it's interesting to see this starting to mimic the Pac-12. We released our podcast this morning, and we'll be doing another Big 12 Insiders here this afternoon. So it's always busy. I seem to remember the summers used to be slow and enjoyable, and now I work as much basically as basketball season. It's crazy.
I agree. We've been talking about that. There's a lull here, and you got the TBT coming. The K-State's got a fun team coming down here to Wichita. We'll be paying attention to that as well.
Yeah, they could be competitive this year. They really could.
$76 billion for an NBA deal. You'll never convince me that the NBA is 20 times more valuable than Big 12 football and basketball. So I think it's coming. It's coming. The Big 12 will get there. All right, Fitz. GoPowerCat.com, at Life of Fitz on social media. Go follow the work there. We'll talk again next week.
Thanks, boys.
Oh, man, Tommy. And it's over 11 years there, $76 billion. So maybe we'll call it 10 times more valuable. If I told you right now, do you think the NBA is 10 times more valuable than the Big 12? You think that's fair?
I think they're more valuable. I don't know if I would go 10 times more valuable.
It seems high, right? It seems high. I mean, they get 81 games, but it does seem high. It does. And so that's what I mean. I think a bigger deal is attainable for the Big 12, but they got to get bigger to get there. Appreciate Fitz. If you missed any of that, well, we'll have Fitz on next week, and you can catch it. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Let's get into the Royals. Second half coming. Who would be our number 1 trade target if we were JJ Picollo right now? We'll get into it, get you the latest rumors as well. Sports Daily, Albrocht and Caster, don't go away.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
Well, let's give away a little HTO. You can text the keyword T right now to 20357 and win some HTO free iced tea. More than 20 flavors available for you in East Wichita, West Wichita, or in Derby. Or some free rain coffee. Iced coffee might sound good in these hot days. They got it all. Free rain, featuring free rain. You can text the keyword T to 20357 right now to win a free tea, free coffee. 1 entry per day, message and data rates apply. Tommy, you sent me, need a little tea to wash down what you just sent me. The Royals are introducing something here called the Taste of the K. It's a taco. It's a hot dog wrapped in a cheeseburger quesadilla, topped with barbecue brisket, French fries, lettuce, onion, and Sriracha Cracker Jacks. Now, that's going to be really good. I don't know about the Sriracha Cracker Jacks, but everything else on there is good. So you know us. Like I would like the thought of taking all of those foods that are good and putting them in one bite is going to be good. I don't, but why though? Because I'm sure this is like $40 or something crazy. That's the thing. We see these stadium concoctions and like it's not even like you get to it. And I just can't imagine trying to tackle that or wanting to tackle that.
Yeah, I thought that it was April Fool's Day when I first read that. I'm like, that looks like an April Fool's joke, but it looks like it's legit. I mean, it came from the concession provider for the Kansas City Royals that they're offering this, the Taste of the K Taco. It's pretty extreme, and I'm kind of with you. I mean, I'm the kind of guy that if I go to a ball game, like I want maybe just a hot dog or a brat, and a beer and some peanuts. Like I'm pretty simple. Call it good. I don't need anything wild. I don't need something that lights up or whatever. That's actually the difference between my wife and I is that like I'm usually the simplest. Like I just want a regular beer. She's like, give me a drink that is like in a light up cup or that is on fire or that's got some kind of like craziness to it.
Yeah, no beer at the ballpark.
Yeah.
Hot dog. I would prefer sunflower seeds over peanuts, but either way, I mean, it's mission accomplished.
A lot of places won't allow sunflower seeds anymore, so you gotta kind of go over to the peanuts.
Yeah,
or just sneak them in, or just bring them yourself.
I think I could do without the Cracker Jacks. Otherwise, that doesn't look too bad. It was the
onion. I wouldn't need the onion on there. Doesn't make a lot of sense either.
Yeah, the only one I've ever thought I might want to try is there was a minor league team that was doing the Baco a while back, which is a taco, but instead of a tortilla shell, it's just bacon.
I would go. Yeah, that'd be good. That would be good.
Yeah.
And it's not like all of these are like, for instance, the Wind Surge. I was out there this year for cinnamon rolls and chili night. It's fantastic. First time I'd done that, by the way. But that was cool. Like a one-time theme night to pay homage to the Midwest and all that. That was great. It also didn't cost $40. You know what I mean? Like, that's where these things come in. Like, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that might be fun. And then you see the cost of them, and you're like, why would anybody do that? That's a ton of money.
Well,
that's kind of the holdup.
Yeah, Tommy was talking about drinks. I did get the Sporting KC, the like main drink they had there was the Children's Mercy Park was the Blue Hell Lemonade, which is basically like an electric lemonade type drink. What did I pay for that? It was something kind of ridiculous for a mixed drink of that size. It was like $12 or $13 or something like that.
What was it, like a frozen drink with some vodka in it or something?
No, it's just an electric lemonade. It's just a blue lemonade with a lot of vodka in it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. That actually sounds good. Yeah, $12 for a mixed drink. That's not too bad.
Yeah,
that's not too shabby. I have not been to a sporting game. I went to a KC Current game at Children's Mercy Park, which was a blast. With the girls, with my girls, that was a lot of fun. I haven't been. Are they? Yeah, they're in their new stadium. We need to check that out too. Speaking of the Royals and non-concession topics, it is the trade deadline in a couple of weeks. We'll have more on the Royals tomorrow as they get things back underway tomorrow. But as it pertains to the trade deadline, Tommy, I mean, there are two names that I consistently see that make sense, that could be possibilities, and it would be Tommy Pham and Jazz Chisholm. Now, I'm not sure at this point anymore they could afford Chisholm. He would certainly be the preference as far as just player to player. He's got some control. He's younger. He's a star. He could lead off. But so could Tommy Pham. And we had isolated him for a long time. And, he's sort of platooning for the White Sox. And I don't know that would be as interesting. He would be handy. I haven't seen a lot of rumors that tie them to anybody else specifically. This may really come down to what happens over the next 10 days or so and seeing if anybody else enters the trade market as a seller as to how this shakes out. I will say, though, based on what the Royals just paid for their reliever, it looks like the seller's market for sure. And the cost of anything is probably going to be pretty high.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the case. I mean, I mentioned that when the Hunter Harvey trade was finalized, that I think that as we get closer to the deadline, regardless if more teams enter into that seller's market or not, I think that you're going to see prices continue to go up because of the urgency and because of, you've got a hard deadline to get these things done. And sellers know that, and they know that some of these buyers that are out there that are looking for one additional piece and they feel like can get over the hump for them, that, the price will be pretty steep for that sort of thing. So that's not going to surprise me if the prices continue to rise on some of these really important pieces that sellers are offering.
Well, and look, there's control involved with Henry. They view him as a closer, but you're talking about a fringe top 100 prospect and the 29th overall, but 39th overall pick. That's a pretty high price tag. That's a pretty high price tag. Certainly gives you an indication of like what Miller from Oakland might cost somebody, or Jazz Chisholm could cost somebody. I don't know that the Royals can get into that market. I just, maybe whether they want to or not, I don't know that they can. And so then you do sort of have to look at the Tommy Phams and wonder, is anybody else going to become available? I mean, they will. Other teams are paying attention too. Like Toronto will almost certainly become a seller. I mean,
how far are they going to go? I mean, are they going to get rid of Vlad Jr.? Are they going to get rid of Bo Bichette? Like those guys have been cornerstones for a few years for the Blue Jays.
I would venture to guess that they would be willing to do either of those things because they have shown a willingness to spend money. It's not as crazy to imagine it to just absolutely take a boatload for the system, because they'll attack free agency aggressively. It's a great franchise. So I think that's, I would have to get the pulse of the Blue Jays fans. I would imagine they don't want to see those guys go, but at the same time, Toronto could fix themselves in like one off season. It would be right now, just load up on talent and then go back and attack free agency hard in the next couple of years. And they'd be right back where they need to be, I think. So yes, I would venture to guess that they will trade a lot of those players. I think they'll be one of the teams to really watch. I don't know who the others will be.
I think the White Sox will be a team, that they're going to unload players on.
We know they're in. I'm saying of the fringies now, gotcha. The fringy teams at the moment.
I mean, because really it's the Blue Jays are going to sell, I think. It depends on to what extent. We know the White Sox are going to sell. We know the Marlins are probably going to continue to sell. I think the A's are going to sell, but maybe not as deep as maybe I originally thought. I mean, Brent Rooker, I think, is going to be a trade candidate. Mason Miller, I mean, they flat out said that it's going to take, I think the words were like a Herschel Walker type trade return to move Mason Miller. And I don't know, there might be some teams out there that are really intrigued by what Mason Miller can do for them. I don't know, though, if anybody's going to be willing to match what Oakland wants to move him.
And the longer you wait, the less value he has. And the fact is, Oakland's not even close to contention. So how much does a relief pitcher help them? They should trade him now, I think. Anyway, they'll trade. So I think you got to look at San Francisco, San Diego, Cincinnati, the Cubs. They're all sort of fringy right now, even Pittsburgh to some degree. And the Mets, they're all a little bit fringy. The Rangers would be fringy, but they're kind of in it. I just don't think they're going to. And then I think Detroit would be another team in Toronto. So those are all sort of fringy teams that could go one way or the other over the next 10 days and probably make a decision one way or the other, whether they stand pat, whether they buy, whether they sell. I almost think we're getting to a point in baseball where like if you're not buying, you should be selling.
Yeah.
Like standing pat doesn't make sense for really anybody outside of, like Cleveland. But even then, you're still trying to tinker to get to a World Series. It almost is, to me, if you don't buy, you should sell, and vice versa. Like if you're not going to be a seller, you should be trying to get better. And I say that because it gives you like a threshold. Like if you don't think you can go and add at the trade deadline to put your team in position, then you probably ought to be selling to some degree because you don't think you're good enough, right? Like, and if you don't think you're good enough, what are you doing?
So John Heyman, Major League Baseball insider, New York Post, he reported that the two teams that are looking at Tommy Pham are the Phillies and the Royals. Those are the two teams that have interest in Tommy Pham. I'm going to call it right now. I think the Royals deal for Tommy Pham. And the reason I say that, I think I think they get it done. And I don't think that the Phillies ultimately take a swing at Tommy Pham. And the reason why is because Philadelphia just released Whit Merrifield. And Tommy Pham, is an upgrade from Whit Merrifield. His average is significantly better than what Whit Merrifield was, but they're both aging players. I think that the Phillies feel like if they're going to release Whit Merrifield, that they need probably a bigger upgrade than him, to be able to bring in. And I don't think that going from Whit Merrifield to Tommy Pham for the Phillies really makes that much of a difference for them. I think that bringing in Tommy Pham would make a larger difference for the Royals potentially. And so I think that it's probably more likely that the Royals are the team that gets that deal done.
The only thing I will say about that is if Pham is indeed a platoon player, as a lot of people are saying, then it does make sense for the Phillies. Then it does make sense because everybody can use a platoon player, right? And so I would ask you this though: would you rather have Tommy Pham or Whit Merrifield if you're the Royals?
I think I'd rather have Tommy Pham just because of the average. I mean, he's hitting, a respectable 264, right now. Whit Merrifield's average is not good.
You really just have to look at Whit Merrifield and wonder if it was like a Hunter Renfroe type thing, right? Going on in the first half of the season. Like, is this really Whit Merrifield?
But haven't we said multiple times, and then at least I've brought this up multiple times as we've been talking about potentially outfield additions, lineup additions for the Royals, it's not about what they can do from a ceiling perspective. They need to be consistent. They need to be able to get on base consistently. They need to be able to. And unfortunately, somebody like Whit Merrifield right now in his stage of his career, if he comes back to Kansas City, he's not the Whit Merrifield that was an all-star when he was a Royal before. He's not a consistent hitter anymore. Tommy Pham is more consistent right now, even though he's 36.
The problem, and Ken brings up a good point, and this is the problem for either of those players, is do we want them to play in center field? And I
think the answer is no. Right? Like, I mean, I think Kyle Isbell is the center fielder.
So who are you squeezing out though? Yeah. Melendez, Renfroe, who are both, I think, better options than either Pham.
You think Melendez is a better option than Pham?
I do.
Really? Okay.
I do right now. Yeah, I think
still
Melendez
under the Mendoza line.
Well, I know, but if we look at his splits and take it, if you take the last month or so, he's really come on lately, at least to his average. But I think he provides some pop. But maybe they could platoon. Melendez can do a variety of things. I'll tell you this: there is very much a part of me that would love to see them just sort of push all their chips in and go after a guy like Jazz Chisholm, because he would fit about 8 billion needs for them, and he's under control for a little bit, and him at the top with Witt, Salvi. I mean, you're cooking now if you can pull something like that off. It's just hard. I don't know, like, can they already trade? And I genuinely don't know the answer to this. Can they already trade 2025 draft picks would be my first question.
I don't know.
And would you be willing to give up Mitchell, your top prospect? Because that's probably what it would take. And, I think my answer to that, if it would probably be yes. It's very difficult. It's very, very difficult to imagine what that's going to be like. But I would like to see. Here's what I'll say. And I know I'm rambling here. I almost, as much as I want the urgency factor, rather than settling for Tommy Pham, which I do think could fit, I kind of want to see if anybody else comes on the market. I do think there is some value in hanging tight and seeing if you can't find an everyday center fielder. You know what I mean? Like, maybe Pham's a nice backup plan, but maybe prioritize an everyday center fielder first. They're playing the soft part of the schedule. I mean, it puts some pressure on them a little bit.
It does.
But you got a soft part of the schedule coming up, and I don't know what. Like, you got to get it right. Is Pham right? I don't know. I mean, he makes sense.
As you
We've
mentioned,
said his name for 2 months.
As you mentioned, is a platoon piece. It does. I think it does upgrade your outfield.
Yes.
The only thing that I think about with Tommy Pham is, again, I consistently go back to what both John Sherman and JJ Piccolo have said multiple times, that they want to address the short term and the long term at the same time. Tommy Pham's a rental. He's a free agent at the end of the year. That's not addressing the long term. Is that going to be a deal breaker for them? Does that make them not interested in Tommy Pham? Do they want somebody controllable for a year or two?
Hunter Harvey fit exactly what they said. So that, if that's the way they go, then shoot bigger. I mean, if you're going for a controllable player, I just don't think the window is not just this year. To me, the window is very much the next 2 years at minimum. So you can think about it that way too. I don't know how they'll find starting pitching, so if you got a nice little 2-year window here, you can push them all in on that. That doesn't hurt my feelings at all. And I don't usually say that, by the way. I'm usually on the other side of that. I'm not with the Royals right now. I think it's been too long. 869-1240. We'll come back. We'll continue the conversation. This portion of the program brought to you by Crestview Country Club. We appreciate Crestview's support. They have all kinds of good stuff. The weather has never been better for golf. It feels like after how hot it's been. 36 holes of golf, swimming pool, tennis courts, nice restaurant, bar. It's all there for you. Take a tour. Tell them we sent you. We appreciate their support. We'll come right back. More Sports Daily right after this.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated?
How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Sports Daily on KFH. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Caster with you. You can text the keyword T to win some HDO. TEA 20357. Message and data rates apply. By the way, we've been talking a lot of football, a lot of baseball, some Chiefs training camp. Training camp updates on KFH brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile and you can get tons of benefits. Still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. Chiefs camp continues. Now we're to the, I think the tone has been set. Worthy was the big news yesterday. Good to see him out there. I don't think it's smoke from Patrick Mahomes saying there is no time to ease him in. As we talk about Worthy specifically in this offense, there's Hollywood Brown there now. You think Rashee Rice is still going to be there.
By all accounts, he's there,
Worthy does have to acclimate quickly, or there could be some risk of him getting left behind early in the season. And I think they sense that, but I just have not had I like Worthy the player. I don't mind the pick. I have had a hard time with expectations for him, I think, as a rookie. I really just don't know what I expect. Is he just slot into the MVS role? Does he need, what role does he need to play for this team? And a part of the problem with that is, of course, the Rashee Rice unknown. How much time does he miss? I think ultimately he's going to need to play a big role because Rice will be out at some point.
I think that for him, and I would feel the same way about Rashee Rice coming into the season if he didn't have this looming suspension hanging over his head whenever that ends up happening. I think that he will have a fairly sizable role in the offense, and that's solely because defenses are going to focus in, of course, on Travis Kelce and now Hollywood Brown with the deep ball. So I do think that there's the potential that it could open things up quite a bit for Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, even maybe more so than last year when Rice is able to play. You know what? I've read a couple different things about Rashee Rice, and until there's some kind of finality to the criminal case and all of that, it seems unlikely that the NFL is going to move one way or another on this. And, so who knows how long that will play out. There've been several different times where, players, I think Alvin Kamara was one of them, where it was like the next season because the legal system took so long to play out in his case that his suspension didn't even take effect until the next season. So I don't know if that's on the table for Rashee Rice or not, but, at this point, until we hear otherwise, I'm rolling with him, being out there on the field and contributing right away.
I think we all have high expectations for Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown's best season as a pro, the only time he's reached 1,000 yards and really has come even close, was in 2021, his last year in Baltimore. 91 catches, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. What would you say the chances that he surpasses those numbers are?
I don't know.
Those are slightly better than what Rashee Rice was last year. I think they're relatively high. I think there's a pretty decent chance
whether they are or not. Honestly, I don't particularly care. I think the value from Hollywood Brown goes beyond just what his individual stat line will say. Even just the threat of him catching the deep ball, I think will force defenses to pay attention to him and then open things up elsewhere, whether it's for Travis Kelce or the other receivers underneath. Having that speed threat. And that's kind of like, to an extent, Tyreek Hill, he had incredible stats, don't get me wrong, and was fantastic. But even just the mere thought of him on the field attracted attention, and he impacted games even when he wasn't catching the football. I think Hollywood Brown can do that to an extent. It's not going to be quite the same as it was. He's not quite as fast as Tyreek Hill is. But I do think that, you look back to last year, there was zero deep ball threat for the Kansas City Chiefs, and defenses knew that. And so they were then able to lock in on other areas of the field to shut down because they knew that, number one, there weren't the pass catchers that were capable of doing that. Number two, Patrick Mahomes wasn't going to even try to test it.
One of our great consumers of our video stream, Rick, points out that the first court date on Rice isn't until December and wouldn't end until next year. It really comes down to, what is the NFL? Does the NFL, because remember, the initial reporting is that it would come quickly because of, I'm sure, an admission of guilt. I don't know, and I hadn't seen that, Rick, so I appreciate that. But the question becomes, does the NFL feel like it can act now, or does it need to wait? They've shown a history of doing both. So I'm not sure. I don't know what they'll do. But if Rice plays all year, draft Patrick Mahomes in your fantasy leagues. I'm just telling you. It's going to be a ridiculous collection of talent there in Kansas City. We'll come back. We'll tell you what's on the network today. Get you all prepped up for it in our final segment of Sports Daily.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated?
How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
All right, good stuff today. That'll do it for us. Albrocht and Castor, we'll be back tomorrow. I'll have Connor Frankamp in tomorrow. He had a little bit of a conflict. It's craziness trying to get all those players organized, and they'll play Saturday. So we'll get a little tease of the aftershocks, see if we can get them to talk a little trash on the KU and K-State alumni teams. I bet we can. I know Marcus McDuffie had a little of that in their media availability. It's Infinity Sports Network programming all day for you today. Bob and Jeff here locally from 2 to 4, so make sure to jump in on that. We're back to baseball tomorrow. More Chiefs training camp news. We'll have it all for you. Tommy, enjoy the, what day is it, Thursday?
Thursday, and the Open Championship continues. We'll talk more about that tomorrow.
Right. There's golf. We'll see you tomorrow.